There are children in America who need help. Children with craniofacial deformities. According to recent statistics, 1 in 600 children suffers from cleft lip and palate, and others have more severe facial deformities. In addition to appearance, it can affect functions such as impaired hearing, speech, breathing, sight, or physical coordination. It can prevent a child from laughing, smiling, or crying, and can inflict debilitating pain. A facial deformity can also have serious emotional consequences.
There are unique emotional and psychosocial consequences of a facial difference. There's the physical implications of having multiple procedures or surgeries over one's lifetime. There are the social implications of appearing different and how society treats differences. And then there's the emotional considerations of how one develops a good sense of self.
There are numerous types of facial deformities that can develop prior to birth. Some of them are more serious than others.
There can be underdevelopment of the lower jaw, the ear can be missing, there can be holes in the cheeks and in the lips. And it's not just a matter of appearance, because many of our children have what we call functional problems. They cannot breathe well and they need a tracheotomy. They have trouble swallowing. It can affect their vision, and it also can affect how the brain is working, because if the bones aren't growing, there's pressure on the brain.
In February of 2004, Nathaniel Newman was born with a facial deformity.
And Nathaniel was born with Treacher-Collins syndrome, which caused underdevelopment of his cheekbones, his ears, and especially his lower jaw. And because his lower jaw was so small, he had trouble breathing, and a tracheotomy or a hole had to be made in his neck so that he could breathe better.
Treacher-Collins has a tremendous impact on your family and your everyday life. For us, because Nathaniel has a trach, we can't hire a babysitter and go out on a Friday night. We can't take him to a swimming pool, or we can go to the beach, but he can't go in the water. And we take limited vacations, so it definitely has an impact on our other son Jacob and just our whole family.
There was hope for Nathaniel and his family, as there has been for thousands of children with facial deformities.
We increased his lower jaw, made it bigger by putting distraction devices, which his parents twisted. And in twisting them every day, they lengthened his lower jaw to improve his breathing.
The National Foundation for Facial Reconstruction was founded to support the medical treatment and psychosocial services of patients, predominantly children, with facial malformations.
The NFFR was founded in 1951 by a plastic surgeon who saw the devastating impact of facial disfigurement on soldiers in World War II. NFFR then went on to found the Institute of Reconstructive Plastic Surgery here in NYU Medical Center, which became and evolved into a center of excellence that has a team of 50 that treats 2,000 patients every year with every kind of facial disfigurement.
With Nathaniel's Treacher-Collins, we've come to rely greatly on the NFFR and the Institute for Reconstructive Plastic Surgery. The way I describe it is they're our port in the storm. No matter how bad things get, no matter how difficult Nathaniel's life becomes, we know if we ever need anybody or anything, we're going to get it here.
We feel like this is our family at this point. We feel safe here, bringing him to NFFR.
Treating a facial deformity is never a quick fix. Whether it's a missing ear, a misshapen skull, a cleft lip and palate, they all take numerous procedures, counseling, emotional counseling, and dental intervention, years. A child with a syndrome, which is a combination of many conditions, the treatment can span an entire childhood.
NFFR has been an advocate for families of children with facial deformities to insurance companies who refuse to cover treatment costs of many procedures, calling them cosmetic unless the condition affects function.
The NFFR and the IRPS work very closely with families to help them obtain the necessary documentation to provide their insurance carrier to justify the treatment. as well as help them with advocacy in working with their insurance coverage to help them understand what's needed. And for families who don't have insurance, we help look for resources that may assist with the coverage of the treatment they may need.
73% of our patients at the Institute are basically in need. They are Medicaid, managed Medicaid, or uninsured and unable to pay out-of-pocket expenses. In order to treat all of those patients, our doctors give back by providing almost $2 million in pro bono surgical time. That meant 136 procedures were done in 2008, all of which were 5.5 to 12 hours long.
NFFR also supports virtual surgery, research to discover less invasive and more effective procedures, and provides educational material to new mothers and healthcare professionals who interact with these children.
I see the future of NFFR greatly impacted by the increase in unemployment and the rising Medicaid enrollment. That will mean that there will be more and more in-need patients at the Institute. But I also see that our virtual surgery education center will continue to train young doctors on a computer before they operate on a child's face, and our research will continue to develop less invasive procedures.
The National Foundation for Facial Reconstruction. Changing faces is a long-term commitment. To learn more, contact NFFR today or visit nffr.org.